Hi everyone, today is June 29th, and on this day, the church celebrates the feast of two of our most famous saints. Two of the first saints, St. Peter and St. Paul. Yes, the very famous ones. And so, St. Peter we know is first among the apostles, who is named by Jesus as the rock, as Petrus. That's his name actually just means rock. It wasn't a name before Jesus said that. It's really Simon Peter. And then we have St. Paul, who was Saul before, and as we know, he was a Pharisee who persecuted Christians until he had a radical encounter with Jesus on the road. And so we look to these two saints as being the great evangelists of the beginnings of the church. St. Peter to the Jewish people, and St. Paul, by and large, to the Gentiles. And without them, we don't really have much of a church as we know it, because they went far and wide. They preach without fear. And I think sometimes when we hear about these saints, we look at them and what they've done in Scripture, to me it can seem like, wow, that's really awesome that they did this. That was a really cool thing that those first saints did, and I'm happy that they were here. They're great heroes. But we don't tend to think that that is ever something that I'm called to. Or we don't tend to think that that's something ever that I would do. I mean, that was them. But in fact, God calls all of us to this prophetic vocation, to be part of the mission that is to spread the word of the gospel. And we might think we are too weak. We don't have the right words. Well, look at both of these men. They were both very weak men. St. Peter especially, we can see how he denies Christ. He speaks out when he shouldn't. St. Peter, who's very aware of his weakness and his sinfulness. Yet, what sets him apart is that he doesn't dwell on that after a while. He starts to believe more in what Jesus is calling him to rather than in his weakness. And through that belief and trust in the Lord, that's where he finds redemption. Same is true for St. Paul. He thought Christianity was bad, that he wanted to basically stamp it out from the face of the earth. But Jesus encounters him, telling him what the truth is, that he is the Lord. And from there he gets the greatest evangelist that the church ever knew. We are all called to this great vocation of being disciples who go out and tell other people about Jesus. And it's not something that is too great for us, because it's not about our strength, but the Lord's strength working through us. May the example of St. Peter and St. Paul today not be only great stories for us, but a great example and witness for us, that we might see them and say, Lord, how are you calling me to do the same? And then, with his grace, go and do it.